The moment I saw that text, I knew my life was about to change forever. I was sitting on the couch, scrolling through my phone, when it buzzed. It was Jenna's phone, unlocked, face up on the table. I never thought I'd snoop, but something about the moment felt different. I glanced down at the screen, and there it was. A message from a number I didn't recognize, reading, "Can't wait to see you tonight. I miss you." I felt a cold rush of panic. My heart raced, and my hands trembled. This wasn't just some innocent text. This was a lie, a betrayal. I didn't know how to react, but I knew something was terribly wrong. My name's Mike, and I grew up right here in Chicago. I'm in my mid-40s now, but it feels like just yesterday I was a 27-year-old guy figuring out life. That's when I met Jenna. She was 29, working at a coffee shop I used to go to every morning before work. I'd always see her behind the counter, and eventually, I found a reason to strike up a conversation. We hit it off instantly. She was smart, funny, and had this energy that made everything feel brighter. We started talking more, going on dates, and before I knew it, I was falling for her. We got married a few years later. At the time, I thought I had everything. We had a house in the suburbs, 2 amazing kids, and what looked like a perfect life. The kind of life I thought everyone dreamed of. For over a decade, we were inseparable, laughing, growing, facing the ups and downs together. But over time, things began to change. I started noticing subtle shifts in Jenna, things I couldn't quite put my finger on. And that's when I began to wonder, did I really know her as well as I thought I did? I remember the first time I felt something was off. It wasn't anything huge, just a small moment. Jenna was staying late at work, and she called to let me know she'd be home late. She always did that, so I thought nothing of it. But when I went to bed and she still wasn't home, something didn't sit right with me. I remember lying there in bed, the house completely still, just staring at the clock ticking away. It was like the quiet was giving me time to think about all the little things. Maybe I was overthinking, but the thought wouldn't go away. Then there was the phone. For years, we shared everything. No secrets, no privacy issues. But over the past few months, Jenna had been acting weird with her phone. She'd always leave it face down on the counter, never taking calls in front of me. I'd see her send quick messages or texts, but she'd hide them from me the second I walked into the room. It didn't help that when I asked her about it, she'd brush it off, acting like I was paranoid. I started doubting myself. Was I imagining things? Was I reading too much into these small signs? There was a night I remember vividly. It was just a few weeks before everything came crashing down. I was cooking dinner for the family when Jenna walked in, looking distracted. She didn't kiss me, didn't even look me in the eyes. It wasn't like her. I asked if everything was okay, and she just nodded, saying she was tired. But when she went to her room to change, I couldn't shake this feeling of distance. I told myself I was just tired, too, maybe a little stressed out from work. But the feeling lingered. It was like a shadow, following me around, and I couldn't escape it. Every time I brought it up, Jenna got defensive. She'd accuse me of not trusting her, of being too insecure. She'd tell me I was imagining things, that I needed to relax. And I wanted to believe her. I really did. But every time I saw the signs, my gut told me something wasn't right. I felt like I was losing my mind. Was I just paranoid, or was she hiding something from me? I couldn't tell anymore. It was one of those nights when everything felt off. Jenna had been more distant than usual, her mind seemingly elsewhere. The kids were in bed, and I was sitting on the couch, flicking through the TV channels, but I couldn't focus. Something inside me told me to check her phone. I didn't want to. Hell, I never wanted to invade her privacy, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I needed to know. That voice in my head was screaming at me to just look. And so I did. I grabbed her phone from the kitchen counter, heart pounding. It was locked, but I knew the code. It was the same one she'd been using for years. As I unlocked the phone, I could feel the weight of every second dragging on. I opened her messages. I told myself I wasn't looking for anything specific. But there it was. Right at the top, a conversation I didn't recognize. It was from a number I didn't know. The messages were innocently worded at first, but as I read further, the tone changed. "Can't wait to see you tonight. I miss you so much." Another one. "I need to feel your touch, babe." Then came a picture. A picture I never thought I'd see. Her, smiling in a way I didn't recognize, dressed in a way she never did for me. My stomach sank as I realized what was happening. The room seemed to close in around me. My head was spinning. Anger, disbelief, sadness, all of it hit me in waves. I couldn't breathe. My wife, the woman I thought I knew better than anyone, was seeing someone else. Someone who wasn't me. I sat there, frozen, staring at the screen, my hands shaking. This was the moment I had feared, but never wanted to face. The truth was right in front of me, and I couldn't unsee it. I didn't know how long I sat there. Time had stopped. My heart was in my throat, and I felt like I was going to break into a million pieces. How had I missed this? How had she hidden it from me for so long? I felt betrayed, shattered, but most of all, I felt stupid. How could I have been so blind? I didn't confront her right away. I couldn't. My mind was racing, and my heart felt like it was going to explode. I needed to process what I had just discovered. The betrayal was too raw, too painful to face immediately. So, I sat there, staring at the screen, trying to make sense of everything. What it all meant, how I had missed it, why she would do this. Every time I tried to rationalize it, the anger built up inside me more and more. It wasn't until Jenna came home that night that I knew I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine. She walked in like everything was normal, but there was something different about her. Something cold, like she already knew. She tried to kiss me on the cheek, but I stepped back. "We need to talk," I said, my voice shaking, barely able to keep it together. Her face changed instantly. She knew. She knew what I had seen. She didn't even need me to say the words. She just stood there, frozen, and then, "Mike, please, let me explain." But I couldn't listen to her. My hands were clenched into fists at my sides, and my voice was rising with every word I said. "Explain? Explain what, Jenna? That you've been lying to me for months? That you've been with someone else behind my back while I trusted you with everything? I gave you everything, and you betrayed me." I couldn't stop the flood of emotions. My words came out like a storm, each one heavier than the last. I was furious, hurt, lost. I couldn't understand how she could do this to me. We had a family. We had plans. We were supposed to grow old together. Jenna was crying now, tears streaming down her face, but it didn't make the pain any easier to bear. She kept saying how sorry she was, how she didn't mean to hurt me, that it just happened. But the excuses didn't matter. Nothing she could say would take back what had already been done. The damage was done. "I don't know why I did it," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "I thought I was just trying to feel alive again. I never meant for it to go this far. Mike, I'm so sorry. Please, please forgive me." But how could I? How could I forgive someone who had destroyed everything I thought was real? My mind was spinning. One part of me wanted to walk away, to never speak to her again, to throw everything away. The other part of me, the part that still loved her, just wanted to hold her, to make it all go away. But I knew it couldn't be fixed. Not like this. We stood there, not saying anything for what felt like an eternity. The silence between us was deafening, and in that moment, I knew nothing would ever be the same again. It's been months since that night, and honestly, I'm still trying to figure out how to move forward. Things haven't been the same, not by a long shot. Jenna and I are still trying to rebuild our marriage, our trust, ourselves. But it's been a hard road. I won't sugarcoat it. There were days when I didn't know if I'd make it through. I would lay awake at night, replaying every moment, every word. The pain of what she did felt like a weight on my chest, and I didn't know if I'd ever breathe freely again. But through all the pain, I learned something important. Trust, true trust, isn't something you can just give away easily. It's something you have to build, brick by brick, and it starts with trusting yourself first. When the betrayal hit, I realized I had ignored the signs. I had put so much faith in someone else that I forgot to check in with myself, to listen to my instincts. The lesson wasn't just about what Jenna did. It was about me, about my own need to trust myself, even when the world around me felt uncertain. As hard as it was, I started doing the work to heal. It wasn't easy. I had to face the truth of the situation, and that meant letting go of the image of the perfect marriage I had built in my mind. I had to let go of the idea that love always looks the way we think it should. Love isn't perfect. It isn't neat. It's messy, full of ups and downs. And sometimes it's not enough. But that doesn't mean I'm any less of a person. I didn't lose myself in the process. I found myself again. Jenna and I are still working on things. We've gone to therapy, talked more than we've ever talked in the past. But the truth is, no matter what happens, I've learned to rely on myself. I've learned that I can survive, even when things fall apart. That was the hardest part, realizing I didn't need someone else to complete me. I needed to complete myself. So, where do we go from here? I don't know. But I do know this. The most important relationship you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. If you don't trust yourself, you can't trust anyone else. And that's a lesson I'm holding on to, no matter where life takes me next. If you've ever gone through something like this, whether it's betrayal, heartbreak, or the struggle to rebuild trust, I want to hear from you. How did you cope? How did you rebuild after everything fell apart? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Sharing your story might help someone else who's going through the same thing. And if you found this video helpful or know someone who could relate, share it with them. There's no reason to suffer in silence. And sometimes, just knowing you're not alone can make all the difference. Let's keep this conversation going and support each other. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on more videos about healing, trust, and relationships. We're all in this together, and if we can learn from each other's stories, maybe, just maybe, we can heal a little faster. Want to hear more about how we rebuilt trust? Watch the next video for more on healing relationships.